happy down Bethnal Green. This gay youth you might have seen. Tompkins and I will hit girl between. Oh, what a surprise.
Well, I didn't know anything about politics at all, except that I had been to one or two Labour meetings with my father, as I said in the Observer. I went to his church once or twice, and at the tail end of my religious education we fell out over the Spanish Civil War. We fell out over that, and he said that I was too prejudiced in favour of the working class. The same year, some people sent me a copy of The Ragged Trouser Philanthropist and said, "Have you read this?" I said no. They said it was written in Hastings, but I said I'd never heard of it and never heard of him. I didn't know anything about it. I wanted to know more about it, so I read the book and was very affected with it. And it seemed to answer a lot of questions that I wanted to know answers to at the time. In 1946, after writing for 4 years to the publisher of the original manuscript, who kept sort of fobbing me off, he finally admitted that he thought that the manuscript was still in existence and he might know where it was. So in 1946 I finally managed to buy it with the ex-serviceman's money and bought the original manuscript of The Ragged Trouser Philanthropist. And then after another 9 years, in 1955, I got the book published, the full version from the manuscript as written, rather than doctored up versions that had been previously done. It's a marvellous social history in its own right, but first and foremost its great appeal is really because of its marvellous picture of ordinary people in those times, when there was no net underneath you as created in the welfare state, even Lloyd George's net. Those reforms were coming in. No MPs got paid until 1911, so not many working men could stand for Parliament, could they? But all his experience of the working class had been before there was any kind of net put under them. All you had then was unity among yourselves and organisation. That's all you'd got and nothing else. You can go back to the Peasants' Revolt, and what are they saying there straight out? There can be no peace in England until everything is common, and there are no masters of men. That's said by John Bull and other priests, and again by the diggers and the levellers during the Civil War. The diggers, certainly. The diggers bought land by clubbing together, as you know, and started to dig it up and share the produce out until they were put down by force. The land was taken away, and the Enclosure Act drove the working class off the land and factories. There's an extraordinary history of socialist ideas in the 19th century that many people possibly don't know about. The Ragged Trouser Philanthropist is the finest book we have in the entire language about the working classes. It introduces for the first time in our literature the working classes as essential characters of the book, and the work is the central theme of the book for the first time in our literature.
Lovely black eyes. Oh, what a surprise. Only for telling a man.